Hello! So Gearbest let me select something from their website to review for you. So I selected the X6 LED mini projector. Now I selected this for two reasons. Firstly, I've always wanted a projector. When I was a kid, when computer screens were like 14 or 15 inches, my dream was to own a projector. Secondly, this projector only cost $40, whereas the cheapest projector I can find on PC World is about £150. This is exceptionally cheap, and it'll be really interesting to see whether or not this is usable. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment if you've got any questions down below about this, and I'll try and get back to you. And also be sure to hit the subscribe button. Right. I'll put a link to this in the description box down below if you're interested. We have a remote control, and it's got all the usual remote control things like on. Obviously you can control all the functions on the projector through this remote control. But it is great that it's got a remote, so you don't have to keep going up to the projector to change the input or something, so that's pretty good. Okay, this comes with a US plug. You can get other countries like EU and United Kingdom as well. It also comes with this 3.5mm jack to phono composite in, so video and left and right audio. So now we've got the projector. Okay, let's take it out of this little bag. The first thing that strikes me is it does look like a projector. Like most projectors, the average price is probably about £500, and as I say, this one is actually about £32 or $40. So I mean, that's really amazing. And on the top of it here we have some controls, obviously a directional pad, an OK button, an on button, a menu button, and a source button for changing the input. We have an infrared receiver, which is for the remote control. You can put a USB stick in here. There's an HDMI port, so you can plug your laptop or your computer into this. AV, so you can use that composite cable that I showed you. A headphone socket, and I guess you could also plug in powered speakers into this. A VGA port in case you've got a slightly older graphics port on your computer. And obviously the power supply. And on this side we've got an SD card slot. On the bottom, model X6, and its image unit is LCD and its lamp is LED, and that's great. Unlike incandescent bulbs, which kind of break every sort of few hundred hours or something, this should actually last, it's quoted to last 20,000 hours. Okay, let's take this lens cap off. You change the focusing on this device by screwing this in and out. It's time to turn this projector on, so I'll press the on button. The little green light comes on there, and we get a little welcome jingle. And now it's ready to use. Now you can hear a fan noise, that's pretty standard. They need a fan to cool down whatever projection mechanism, be it a bulb or LED bulbs. We can see that the projector is now actually projecting. So I've set the projector up here, and about 9 feet away I have a dog and I have a wall. And the Gearbest website shows that basically the closer your projector is to the wall, the smaller the image you get. You can move it a maximum of 12.5 feet away and you'll get an image of 130 inches across. Really, for optimal viewing, you're going to have to make your room darker. I've drawn the curtains and I've changed my camera settings so that my camera looks a lot more like what I can see. So there's the projector, and we can see that it's projected onto this wall and it is bright enough. The bottom of the screen is clipped off there. This projector doesn't have any sort of adjustable feet, so I've just propped it up. So there are 4 main things that you can do with this projector. You can either project photos, you can play music, you can play movies or videos through this, and you can also read text on this. Currently there's nothing attached to the projector, so I'm going to put an SD card in with some stuff on it. We now have to press the source button on the projector or the remote control, and we'll use the up arrow to select SD card, and now it's reading from the SD card. So I've put some photos on here. Now the first thing I'm going to show you is a test image. Firstly, you can see that it can show very vibrant colours, But secondly, and the most important thing, is actually these grids here. The fact that you can see the individual lines making up this grid, these are individual pixels from the 640 by 480 image. The native resolution of this screen is 640 by 480. Now, as with a lot of projectors, they advertise that it supports 1080p. It does, it supports any resolution in actual fact, but it will scale it down to 640 by 480. But to be honest, from a distance, you're not going to notice. The difference between the white and black is known as the contrast ratio, and on this it's 1 to 500, which is pretty good, to be honest. Yes, higher end units are going to have like 1 to 2000 or something, but remember, this is $40. And if I look really closely at the screen, you can see the individual pixels that make up the image, but my advice is to not sit 6 inches from the projected screen. The next image I have on here is this, which is a starship that I designed, and you can see that the blacks look black and the whites look white. Now, my wall is actually made of wood chip, so it's actually not going to be as clear as it would be if you were projecting onto a completely flat wall or a screen, but to be honest, it looks pretty good. And now I'm going to try and play a movie instead. The aspect ratio is wrong, but we can change that, so I'll do that now. There we go, that was easy. Now you can see this looks pretty good. The colours are good, it's really clear. I'm standing about 7 feet away from it, and this is definitely watchable. It's great that the projector has got a speaker on it, because, I mean, you might not want to carry around separate speakers with you. The sound is definitely listenable, it's not fantastic, but you could use your own speakers if you wanted to. Given that the native resolution of this is only 640 by 480, it's quite surprising that you can see quite a lot of detail in the images, to be honest. Now, there are a number of settings we can change on this. So if I press the menu button here, we can change a whole host of sort of presets about the contrast, brightness and colour. We can also control the colour temperature, aspect ratio and noise reduction. On a side note, the projector's been running for a while now and it's not getting worryingly warm. It's about as warm as a cold cup of tea. So as I said, there are some other things you can do on here. You can play music. So if I go to the music section, as you can see, it's quite easy to use. I'm able to get through quite quickly. So, I mean, usually I just use my iPhone, to be honest, but if you had this available to you and you had no other way of playing music, then this would be an alright way of playing some music. And we've also got this text option. So I put count.txt on here, which is just a PHP script. So you can view text on here, but you did have a text document that you wanted to have a look at. So there are other inputs. You can also put a pen drive in this. You can also use an HDMI cable. So I'm going to attach my laptop to the projector. So let's plug in the HDMI. And there we go. It's loaded my Mac desktop. So assuming you're zoomed in enough, the text is readable on this. You probably wouldn't want the text to be any smaller than that, otherwise it will just look really pixelated. So obviously if you wanted to do a PowerPoint presentation or something, you would have to test it on the projector to make sure that the text was big enough to read. There are no obvious artifacts with the projector. It's not ghosting, so it's not leaving a trail when something moves across the screen. The colours are alright. The brightness is alright. So in conclusion, is this good value for money? Yes, I think it is. I actually can't believe that you can get a fully functional LED projector for only $40. I mean, granted, it's not full HD. You're not going to be setting up an HD cinema with this, but it's got a native resolution of 640 by 480. That's all right for watching films and playing games, sitting from a distance, and you will have a massive screen. So, especially if you can only afford a 15 or even 17 or 19-inch monitor, this is a really good way of increasing your screen size. The brightness is all right, the contrast ratio is all right. As I said, it's not spectacular, but it is fully functional, it does what it's supposed to, and to be honest, I'm in shock that you can do that for only $40. So I do actually highly recommend this. Thanks for watching this video. Remember, if you've got any questions about this device, leave them in the comments box down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And subscribe to be in with a chance of winning one of 2 Apple Watch clones when I hit 5,000 subscribers. And I'll see you next time for another unboxing and review.